Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Today we're going to answer one very important question. Is the Battle Master still the best subclass for the fighter? Does this pristine build still hold up even after the final patch? Well, grab yourself a tall ale and let's find out. Now, before we get too far into the video, we like to make thematic builds on this channel, not necessarily trying to stick to like a meta or being super optimized, but the builds will work on honor and tactician mode. And we try to aim for a laid back, almost like conversational tone. So if that sounds like your sort of vibe, consider hitting that like and subscribe button and let's get started. Now, like every epic tale or journey, it all starts at the character creation screen. And naturally, we're going with a human. But really, your race, your background, those are entirely all up to you. But the class that we're going with is the fighter. And at level 1, we pick up Second Wind, which is a nice use of our bonus action for a little bit of healing. Up next, we do get to pick a fighting style. I just always go with defense here. It's just kind of universally really good. But also, great weapon fighting. This is really handy too. And then moving on to our abilities, this is kind of the ability layout I would have. High strength, high dexterity, so we're higher up in the turn order. And our constitution at 14 and then our wisdom at 12. You could flip-flop the constitution and dexterity if you want, but as a fighter, we already have access to heavy armor, and we're proficient with constitution as well. And just a quick note, if you're looking at that strength and you're like, you could just use elixirs of Hill Giant strength, you could, but for this video, we're going to assume that you're not stashing up on those elixirs. But yes, strength is very easy to manipulate in Baldur's Gate 3. Now, let's move on to the leveling section. First up, at level 2, we just pick up Action Surge, which is one of the best skills in the game and makes Fighter here very desirable for multi-classing. But in this video, this isn't a multi-class choice for us. This is all natural, baby. Let's move on to level 3. At level 3, we get to pick our subclass, and we're going with the Battle Master, which is going to provide us these battle maneuvers. Now, they're going to use a superiority die, and the superiority die, this is going to be our resource. It's going to come back on long and short rest, and this is going to add a 1d8 to our maneuvers that do damage, and later on, it'll be upgraded to a 1d10. So we get to pick 3 maneuvers at first here. I would go with Disarming Attack because you're going to go up against a lot of humanoids, so you can take away their weapons. Don't forget to pick them up, though, after you disarm them, if you don't kill them outright. But this is going to get that 1d8 added to our damage. And then I would go with the Menacing Attack because this has the potential to add that Frighten effect to our target, and also, again, going to add that 1d8. And the last one I would pick here is Riposte. This is kind of going to be a counter to any enemy that hits us in melee range. This is going to cost our reaction and use a superiority die, but again, you'll be striking back at a melee target and getting a 1d8 added on top of it. And at level 4, we get to pick up our first feat. Now, as a fighter, we're going to have access to choosing 4 feats if we don't multi-class, but we're going to talk about all the feat potentials, foot potentials. No, all the feat potential, feat. Anyways, we're going to talk about all the feats right now. So starting off, the most boring pick is the ability improvement and just bumping up your strength, but we're not going to need to do that, I don't think. Alert, this is going to be a great choice because it's going to give us 5 to our initiative and we can't be surprised. Very solid pick there. I also like taking Athlete if you want to make your strength 17 and then topping it off to 18 at this point, because Athlete here will make us very mobile on the battlefield when we use our jump as our bonus action to just get around. Love this pick here. This is a really good one. Great Weapon Master, this is probably what I would take first, not because of the raw damage. It's going to add 10 to our damage at the cost of -5 to our attack rolls, but whenever we critical or kill a target, we can then use our bonus action to swing again. So even if you don't have the damage portion for this feat toggled, that part of the feat will still work. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to update this build is because taking Magic Initiate Warlock is probably something we want to do at level 6 because we get to pick 2 cantrips, and the one I want to pick here is Booming Blade. We also can take Eldritch Blast as a range option, but Booming Blade is definitely the one to lock in. We also get a choice for a spell, and I would either take Hellish Rebuke. This would kind of be like a range option as a reaction to kind of like counter, so similar to Riposte, but that only works in melee range. Well, Hellish Rebuke you can do at enemies that hit you from range, so that's going to be a good option. You can also take Hex. Hex is probably what I'm going to take in the gameplay section because you can recast this as long as you maintain concentration, but I would go with one of these 2 choices. At level 8, I would actually take Savage Attacker. Now this will re-roll our attacks, including our superiority die. So at level 10, our superiority die is going to get bumped up to a 1d10, and right now it's a 1d6, or it's a 1d8, but these will get re-rolled with Savage Attacker on top of our normal weapon attack. So we're just getting the highest damage output simply by re-rolling our damage and taking the highest option. And then a couple last feats I want to mention here. If you want to take your Battle Master as more of like your archer, taking Sharpshooter in the place of Great Weapon Master, going to be your best choice there. Also, I guess the last feat that I want to mention here is Heavy Armor Master. So this will decrease non-magical attacks by 3 and add +1 to your strength. This is really good for negating a little bit more damage and can be a fun pick if you want to be more tanky. Now at level 5 we get extra attack. This is crucial for all martial characters, and we can move quickly on to level 6. Now at level 6 we get to pick up our second feat. I already took Great Weapon Master, so this time around I'm going to take Magic Initiate Warlock, pick up Booming Blade, Eldritch Blast, and I already mentioned probably going to take Hex for this playthrough, and we can move on to level 7. Now at level 7 we pick up another superiority die, and we get to pick up 2 more maneuvers. I would take Trip Attack. This has the potential of making your target prone, so that can be always good. And if you want to lean more towards being a tank and doing a little bit of aggro, Goading Attack can be a good choice for that. But also Push Attack if you want to have like a push with your attack, obviously. This would be a good choice too. I'm just going to take Goading Attack, and we can move on to level 8. At level 8, we get to pick up our third feat, and I'm going to take Savage Attacker here because we are utilizing our superiority die a lot, so this is just going to help out with our damage. And we can move on to level 9 now. At level 9, we get the class feature Indomitable, so this is going to help out with our saving throw rolls. This is another reason why I took Hex for Magic Initiate Warlock, because that concentration will be re-rolled if we're going to fail. So having a little bit of protection with that is never a bad thing. At level 10 here, our superiority die gets bumped up to that 1d10. We mentioned that earlier. We also get to pick up 2 more maneuvers. Now we already have the mandatory ones, so just kind of pick whatever you want. I like Rally from time to time, nice support ability. And then I'll probably just take Pushing Attack, and we can move on to level 11. And at level 11, fighters just become absolute monsters on the battlefield because they get improved extra attack. So no fluff, no spells, no potions of speed. We get 3 attacks with our action. This class feature here just makes fighters so damn strong. It's a small thing, but it has a huge impact. And finally, at level 12, we have the choice to pick up our last feat. But this is honestly probably the best time to talk about multi-classing when it comes to Battlemaster Fighter. Now, a popular pick would be something like War Cleric and then choosing War Domain here. And that's for those War Priest charges. But honestly, with Great Weapon Master and our improved extra attack, our bonus action is already going to be weaponized. Now, another choice would be Warlock, but you'd have to undo the Magic Initiate Warlock because you'd want to be picking up those effects here and now. I don't think multi-classing with Battlemaster Fighter is the best choice. I would just stick the whole way as the Battlemaster. And for your last feat here, I'll just take Alert, and let's go to the gameplay section. Now, moving on to the gameplay section here, let's quickly look at our equipment, and you're going to see that none of this is very special. Most of this comes from Act 2. But some things are Act 3, like the Blackguard Greaves here, the sword, and then the bow as well. But we're not going to be using any rings or amulets, and that's because the build I'm showing off here, it's a framework, it's a baseline, and you're going to see that it works completely fine with gear that I would say is on par, maybe even like a little bit below of what kind of gear you're going to have at this point in the game. So obviously, yes, better gear is going to make this build even stronger. Because it's not like I don't have any gear at this point. You know, I have Nirulna here. I have something like the Halberd of Vigilance, which is really good. And then ring-wise, we're not going to be wearing any rings, but I have rings that I think would be fitting for this build or make it even better. And because we took Warlock Initiate, this amulet here can restore a spell slot. Really, if your spellcasters are fine on their spell economy, then maybe give this to something like a fighter like this, but not really a top priority. I would give them something like the Amulet of the Harpers or even the Amulet of Misty Step, give them a little bit more ability. But again, gear-wise, not a big deal. You'll have better stuff at this point, or at least as good as this. Now, for the gameplay section, we did a little bit of breaking and entering, and we're going to be soloing this Steel Watch here. Now we're going to do 2 fights in this video. So for this first fight here, we're not going to use any of these elixirs, but for the second fight against multiple targets, we are going to pop one of these elixirs, and that's really just to speed it along. But again, this guy here, it's going to be all natural. And actually, you know what? I lied. I am going to use the Elixir of Hill Giant Strength because that Steel Watch, that sword is pretty heavy, and I don't think 18 strength or 16 strength is enough. So let's go ahead and pop that and make sure we don't run into that blunder. But anywho, let's go ahead and exit turn-based mode, and let's see who gets the first initiative roll, or who's first in the initiative roll, I should say. Let's go ahead and attack. 11 and 8. Nice, you love to see it. Now, our movement, not that great. That's why something like Crusher's Ring or the Amulet of Misty Step, pretty good for a build like this. But actually not a big deal in general, because as a Battle Master, we can also use our bow to basically do the same thing that we're going to be doing in melee range. So now it's just a choice of what do I want to do to him first. We could disarm him, but we're not close enough to go pick it up. I think actually we'll just hit him with Hex. I think I'll just choose Dexterity Hex. I don't think it really matters because it's a check, not a saving throw. And then we'll go ahead and we'll just hit him with the bow, and then we'll just wait till he gets close to us. We'll get rid of Luck of the Far Realms, or we'll use it up there so it doesn't keep proccing for us. We'll just whittle him down a little bit. Yeah, hit him one more time. Oh, he's already lost a good chunk of health and we haven't even done anything yet. Alright, end our turn. He's going to come to us. Bonk. You missed. Alright, now, we're in melee range here. Let's turn off our great weapon all in. So that way we have the highest % chance of hitting him. And when we hit him, we're going to have a chance to disarm him. So, we disarmed him there. Anytime you disarm a target, even if you think you're going to kill him, just go ahead and pick up their weapon. Ow, that was rude. I was talking there, brother. But pick up their weapon. And then now this Steel Watch, he's going to do not as much damage, and his melee range is not as good either. Now let's go ahead and reactivate our great weapon all in. And let's just go to town on him. And we could just hit him with Menacing Strike here, just to do that extra 1d10 damage. Even though this guy is immune to being frightened, we'll go ahead and use our Action Surge. And he might be dead this turn if we keep hitting him. Oh, one more for the money. Ah, he's done. Damn, that was it's a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be. Oh no, are we going to get hit by this? Yeah. We're okay. Easy as pie right there. Well, now looks like we got ourselves into a cave with a bunch of these sea ladies here. Hey, what y'all up to? What's some, oh, forbidden? Nothing's off limits to me. I'm the hero of the story. Alright, starting a fight against all of these, water people. I really don't remember what to call them here. Now, something we didn't show off against the Steel Watch is, oof, we got Booming Blade here. And I didn't think it was really necessary against the Steel Watch because we were going to absolutely obliterate them. But against these, this group here, let's just go ahead and start going to town. Ooh, beautiful. I mean, now we can only do Booming Blade once per action, which synergizes beautifully with Action Surge here. So we'll be able to use Booming Blade twice as long as we have Action Surge up, which comes back on short rest. But let's just go ahead and finish her off. We'll go with Frighten instead, or Menacing Attack. Bonk. Now they don't have much health left, so let's go ahead and start doing damage on her over here. Bonk. She dropped her weapon. Go ahead and pick that up. Gonna get an attack on me. That's fine. Alright, and now we're going to use our Action Surge. We're going to use Booming Blade on her. Finish her off. Yes, that's okay. Bonk. Now for our remaining turn, we don't really need to heal, and Rally's only good for bolstering your allies. You can't target yourself with it. So we'll just reapply Hex actually, and we'll target her over there. And then we'll end our turn and we'll see what they're gonna do. Probably not too happy that I just broke in here. The bitch queen will end you. Okay. Sure, we'll see. We will see. Yeah, that's right. Come into the mix. Come get a taste. Couple water elementals are not gonna save you. Although they do hurt a lot. I'll give you that. That hurt a bit. Alright, so let's go ahead. We just need to start taking them out systematically here. We'll strike her first. Bonk. Great hit there. Oof. That was nasty. Let's go ahead and see if this kills her. Nice. Got another target here. Let's hit him with Trip Attack. Because if Trip Attack, if this succeeds, we will then have advantage on our next hit. But that's our turn there. And next turn we should be able to basically finish them off. Great. Create water. Just what my character needed to be. A little wet. None of them did anything to attack me on their turns. They're not exactly the brightest, but that's okay. We're gonna Booming Blade so we get the most damage on this one here. Oof, almost got him there. Just do a regular attack now. Finish them off with a regular attack. Okay, you're gonna survive. All right, then we'll use our bonus action. Just a lot of swings, and then it became a 1v1, and I have a feeling who's gonna come out on top. Although I do like your dress. Oh, riposte, baby. Yes, I love riposte. It's so awesome. See ya. I kind of want Booming Blade to take them out. Let's see if they actually try to run away. Trying to make me look like a fool at the end here, but that's okay. Whew. This was a nice cleanup here, but we weren't in time to save our fish friend here. Rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace. All right, y'all. That's the build. That's the video. As you can see, Battlemaster still fucking rocks. Now, there are some items that make Battlemaster even better. Specifically, Gauntlets of the War Master. It'll impose disadvantage on the saving throws for when you're using your battle maneuvers. So if you were sitting there thinking, man, he's using disarm and that trip attack and it's not proccing that often, use those gloves and that'll help that out a lot. But overall, man, Battlemaster, such a great frontliner. Hell, even if you don't want to use it as a frontliner, you could use it as an archer and use all your maneuvers at range instead. And such a well-rounded subclass overall. Now, how does it compete against Arcane Archer? Well, hell, we're going to have to shelve that discussion for a versus series, and I think the next one will be Fighter. So I will see you guys then. Peace and take care.